Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TaughtToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about a comment I got on one of my videos. The video is called Get Rid of Laziness and Lack of Ambition Now. Now I'll leave a link to it in the description so you can go look at it and watch the video if you want. But someone left a comment. Now unfortunately they deleted the comment after I responded to them because I guess they realized how idiotic their comment was. But their comment was basically along these lines of saying, because I was encouraging people, exhorting them to stop procrastinating and wasting time and being lazy and accomplish something with their lives. And that they can do that, and they need to stop making excuses and go do something. Have some ambition, make some progress. Now, their response was, well, you don't understand. When people work 60-hour work weeks, they don't have any time to do anything and help anyone else. They're just out of energy and they're just too tired. First thing, 60-hour work week is not very long. If that's your idea of long, hard, drawn-out work week, you don't know what hard labor is. I've worked construction, physical, manual labor construction, 12-hour days, 7 days a week before. That's hard. And there's people that work harder than I did during that. So that's lame, 60 hours. That's lame. But here's the problem. You're thinking that that's all you can do. 60 hours and then you're done. No more work for you. And you can't possibly help anybody else out because you're so tired because you work 60 hours. And yes, I'm saying this mockingly because it deserves to be mocked. Because that's the mentality that keeps people from helping anyone else. Because all you think about yourself. And I've talked about this before, and this comment just exhibited this selfish mentality that many people have, and that many people choose loss and failure, lack of success, because they're so self-centered they couldn't possibly work harder than only having enough for them and their family. They never think about having an abundance and how that abundance could help someone else because they don't care. They only care about themselves. And this so often is the case. Not every case, of course, but many times it is. And this person made some excuses for laziness and how, you just can't help it and you're tired and this kind of stuff. I have to stress, my friends, when you see the world around you, see what goes on in average people's lives, how they live their lives, what happens when they have days off, what do they do with them? Look at all these things, observe them, take note, and do the opposite. Find out what wealthy people do on the weekends. Find out what wealthy people do with their quote-unquote free time. You'll be surprised. And it's literally the exact opposite so often of what poor people do. Now, what many poor people do is they get in this mentality that, well, on the weekends it's time for relaxation and I shouldn't have to work. There's actually that entitlement mentality. I've heard people literally say, I shouldn't have to work. Maybe you shouldn't because you think you have enough. And so you don't need to worry about possibly having more in abundance where you can actually help someone else and actually become everything you're possibly capable of becoming. Now you may say, well, you're not very capable. Maybe not. But you can become more capable. And it's interesting, all the successful people I've known over the years, some of them didn't start out very intelligent, but they're so wise. And yet among the poor, I don't find that. Very rarely do you find wisdom among the poor. Because there seems to be this cutoff where they just choose not to become more. So learning goes out the window as well. Being educated goes out the window as well. If you think that you're 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, your college education makes you still educated when you haven't been educated since, you're completely delusional. This would be like the guy that was in shape in high school and now he's a big fat blob and says, well, but I was in shape in high school. That makes me in shape forever. This is the exact same thing people do with the college system is they go to college and they think they're educated forever and they stop. And that's kind of that laziness. And it's easy to get in that mentality because if you look around you and if you just perform a little bit better than the average person, which requires almost no effort at all, then it's easy to feel like you're doing more than you need to. You're doing more than's required of you, and you're not. And what I've found so often is more successful people, people who are really accomplishing great things, and of course wealth comes with that, are doing more. They're very rarely laying around doing nothing and relaxing and taking vacations all the time. Now, yes, you may point to some random billionaire here and there that's doing that, but that's just not normal. And it certainly is not how they got to the point of having billions. They got to that point by working long, hard hours. Many people, including Warren Buffett, are said to read 4 to 8 hours a day, researching, studying, educating themselves in their craft, in their skill, in what's making them the most money, and what's making them great in life. When's the last time you can say you really studied and educated yourself in whatever you're doing? I don't care if it's working at a fast food restaurant. When I worked at a fast food restaurant when I was a teenager, there's not much there to do besides do the same job over and over and over again. But I did that well. So well that many times where they would normally need 6 people in the kitchen, it'd be me and this other guy because we were both high performers and we would just work. We didn't need to. They could literally have 4 other people doing other jobs and not in the kitchen because we performed that well. And those other people got in the way. Think how pathetic that is. 4 people who are virtually useless in that situation. And it's a simple job. But 2 high-performing people could outperform 6 regular performing people. And that's what you find so often in success. These high-performing people, not only can they perform better than most people, they don't stop there. They continue to do more and continue to do better and continue to learn and grow and become better. And they never have this mentality they've got it all figured out. So there's constant re-educating yourself, re-informing yourself, growing, improving, tweaking, making yourself the best person you could possibly be. And there's not this mentality of, well, I worked my 60 hours. That's more than enough. I mean, 40 hours what most people work. I worked 60. I did all I need to do. Now I can relax and watch sports on the weekend and go to movies and eat out and do all these things. Well, I got to spend time with my family. That's often used as an excuse. I got to spend more time with my family. I've seen some of these people's time with their family. It's going to movies and sitting there for 2 hours, not talking at all, so there's no real interaction. You'd be better off sitting in the same room together, both of you doing work. That's the same kind of thing. At least something's getting accomplished there. Or going and watching them play sport. There's all this kind of stuff that people use as an excuse. And one of the worst things you could do is use your family or a loved one or a friend as an excuse, as a crutch for your failure. It's so evil. And I've seen it over and over again. And it's accepted. All you do is pull out the family card. Well, okay, I get why you're a loser now. You got to spend more time with your family. Maybe if you cared more about your family, you would work hard enough that you could have the time to spend with your family. And it wouldn't be some thing that's forced upon you where you feel like, well, I have to spend more time with my family. They're important and I don't want to miss my kids growing up. Well, why don't you do more so your kids can have a better life? Especially when you're not really spending much time with your kids. They're playing video games or watching television. There's no real interaction going on there. That's a waste of time, and you're not really spending time with your kids. If you want to spend time with your kids, why don't you first make sure that you've worked hard, had a diligent, hard day of work that can build a better life for them so they don't have to be making excuses and use their family as an excuse for why they don't accomplish anything, why they don't do enough, why they're just mediocre. And you can also show them something more important than, well, my dad, every weekend we go watch movies together, which they don't care about, to saying, my dad taught me what work ethic was. My dad taught me to work hard. My dad showed me how much he loved me by his hard work to give me a better life than he had. Not, well, my dad showed me how to lay around on the weekends. My dad showed me how to do nothing after work, not have any accomplishments in life, had to have the bare minimum and scrape by just enough. Why not become the best you could possibly be? You really want to have your family and hold them up to a high standard? Then do that. Laziness, lack of ambition, these kind of things are not going to be the best thing for them. And using them as a crutch, as an excuse for failure is evil. It just is. You want to spend time with your family? Great. Spend time with your family then. But if you just want to use that, and really you got to go down to your heart and really ask yourself and be honest with yourself. I know this is hard for many people. But do you really want to spend time with your family, or is it just you don't want to work? And of those two choices, you'd rather spend time with your family. Or you feel like you look more noble because you know you're really not a noble person. So as I stress this individual, as I would stress to anyone who is encouraging laziness, don't settle for laziness, my friend. There are opportunities around you each and every day. Take advantage of them. Become the best you possibly can. Listen, you want to spend time with your family? That's great. Why don't you bring them in, incorporate them into your business? Well, I don't have a business. I work for someone else. Then why don't you start a business? So when you get off of work, your 8 hours of piddling around at work, only working probably 4 hours of those that 8 hours, why don't you have a side business and bring them in on that? Think of all the time you could actually spend with them. You could teach them the things you've learned in life, and they're growing a skill that they're going to be desperately needing in the coming years, and that the vast majority, 99.9% of kids will never learn. And your kid is getting taught that from an early age and spending time with their parent, learning and growing and seeing the challenges of a business and how to overcome adversity and how to become a success in life. Don't let laziness, don't let mediocrity and the things that the world pushes on people of just doing enough become great today. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.